Honey, now the engine is completely dead.
Look, sweetheart, I already told you we need to reboot it.
Actually, dear, I think it would be better to revive it.
Go ram it, you two. Will you just stop arguing and let's take this to the panel?
So, we're all fans of Firefly, the original TV show, one season by Joss Whedon. And we all know in this day and age, we have gotten a lot of reboots and revivals of a lot of our favorite shows, or not so favorite shows.
I don't know if I like where this is going.
So today, what I thought we'd talk about, and we're going to do teams, is if we were to put Firefly back out there, should we reboot it completely? And so for everyone who knows, we're talking about reboots is maybe the same idea, but different continuity, different characters, or should we revive it with the same characters, continuing the same storylines and same story that we've already seen? So you guys are going to be revivals, and we're going to be the reboot team.
Okay, I want to take 1 point of order,
Oh,
because
gosh.
let's bring out Lawyer Dan for just a minute.
Okay, Lawyer Dan.
This guy. Fun at parties.
But I do want to...
He's the best.
But one thing you said, carrying on storylines, I don't think that's necessary for a revival.
Okay.
Because you can have... I think anything in the same continuity
Yes.
is a revival. So even if it didn't have any of the same characters, but referred to things that Mal and company did...
Would be a revival in your eyes.
Oh, Bible, Book of Mormon. Got it.
Got it. Okay. All right, we can go along with that.
Let's do it.
All right, so you guys want
We
to go
are
first?
what? We are reboot? No.
Yes.
We're a revival.
You're revival.
Revival.
So, that said,
Go
I
ahead.
don't think you could do a Firefly revival without the original cast.
Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely.
2 reasons. 1, Firefly's plot... Like, the elevator pitch for Firefly is kind of thin.
Okay.
It's cowboys in space. And, you know, I mean, that's also Star Wars. That's
Yes.
also it's any number of shows.
Outlaw Star.
Part of what made Firefly successful and what has made it like a long-standing property that people love is the character relationships and the actors that portrayed those characters. I mean, you know, I'm all for like Firefly comic books,
Yeah.
but come on. I mean, it's not the same thing at all. You would have to bring back
The original cast.
the original cast,
Even if some of them might
or
be-
most of the
yeah.
original cast.
I think most of the original cast would come back, too.
It'd be tough to bring back Book and Wash, but you know.
Well, Book,
Oh look!
the actors.
We found this guy who looks just like Shepherd Book.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go with like a zombie book. That's why I said most.
His name is Shepherd Comic Books.
But I think most of the cast is really happy. Like, anytime you see them at reunions, they always talk about the show. And they know how much it means to fans.
Yeah.
Because I think anybody that wants the show back are fans. Even people that will take a reboot. But, no, I think you're right. I don't think it would work without the original cast.
Okay.
And you bring in Joss Whedon and Tim Minear as well.
I mean,
They were big in that.
Yeah.
I just think the concept is too thin to really build a reboot off of.
Okay.
You know, so you take something like, just as a comparison, Battlestar Galactica.
Sure.
That was a full-on reboot where
Yeah.
they just said, we like the names Apollo and Starbuck, and
We're gonna keep
there's
them.
these robot Cylons, and they're at war. And,
Cylons are a little different.
but that's it. And
Yeah.
they, kind of ran from there. Whereas, again, Cowboys in Space is so vague, and we didn't get a whole lot of backstory on the universe.
It's true.
We got hints at backstory, but it was canceled too soon. And even with the movie, even if you... Let's not take the comic books into it,
Yeah.
or any extended universe.
No,
stuff into
we're
effect.
just-
Let's just
yeah.
do the series and the movie.
Yeah, that's all
But
we should do.
with the series and the movie, you don't really have enough of a mythology to like create a new and different story.
Okay.
If you're going to do that, just make a new story.
Okay.
And you can make, heavy references, sure, but why reboot when there's not really enough there to
Sure.
make a reboot worthwhile?
That's our first point. What about you two?
So I have a counterpoint to that.
Okay.
So I think that's the perfect situation for a reboot, for me. So you say that there's not a lot of world building. There's not a lot of backstory to these characters, but we were still given a great cast of characters, a great premise. Why not reboot it? Different actors. You can make some changes to the characters if you want, you know, and just really just build upon it. Like, you can really go anywhere with that. Kind of start the same sort of situation at the beginning, have those characters meet maybe kind of in the same way, but make your end game different. Yeah. Make it so you think it's going to go past one season, you know, and really do more with that. Really give yourself and the audience more opportunities for that backstory to be built.
Yeah.
With some side stories, or build it into the overall plot. Change the end game for this.
Yeah.
And really give that situation to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a perfect time to do it.
I agree.
To me, like, you already have it. Let's just do some more. Add some more fluff.
And I think that's what, you know, you say that they have a very thin, you know, story structure to go on, but that's what makes it great, because then you don't have those hardcore fans saying, well, that's nothing, like, why are they ignoring this point of the story or this point of the story? Because you're right, there's not a huge world that's already built. Like, we see, like, with Harry Potter sequels and prequels and things, people get upset when they change things within that canon, but there's not much canon here. So Joss Whedon and whoever else comes on, or anyone who comes on to write it, has a chance to build a new canon within this premise that is interesting. I mean, let's face it, yes, there's Star Wars and other space cowboys and stuff, but you have this idea of Earth going out to explore, and these, you know, desert, you know, different planets, and you have all these other the alliance of planets that are more, you know, you have all these different options that you can really choose from and grow upon. And I think that's what would make a reboot so exciting, because you're not going to be taking the same story or continuing the same premises of the original Firefly. You're going to be expanding upon it and making it something new and something different that a new audience can then really enjoy with a new cast of characters.
I don't think a reboot would work, Amanda.
Why not?
Because I think people are just used to seeing these cast of characters. You're talking about world building, and, but why would that benefit from a reboot? Because you already have this world, and I think what made it work were the
characters.
The characters, and then the actors that portray the characters. That's what people go to see at conventions. They don't go to a Firefly convention to go and talk about the world. They go and see because they're browncoats, and we've been waiting for something, some kind of announcement, some kind of hope, and we've taken comic books. But the fact that we've taken comic books means that people are ready for these characters to come back, and these characters can only come back if they're played by the original actors.
But we can't think about just the fan base that it already has. We have to think about building onto a new fan base.
We have children.
Yeah.
We force them to watch it. New fan base.
Yes, new fan. That's true, but that's not a big enough fan base.
No, I know it's not.
I mean, and this is now it's owned by Disney because it's a Fox property.
That is true, and they are notorious for rebooting.
Yes, they are notorious.
We're having this argument.
But when we talk about if Disney is going to reboot it, if that was their choice, they would want to make a property that is going to appeal to more than just this fan base.
Well, and it has some staying power.
Yes.
Because if usually when these revivals come in, how long do these stay? Well, how long does the cast stay?
As long as people stay watching.
Yeah, they're usually limited series. Like Will and Grace is a good example. It was revived with the original cast, but...
Are we comparing Will and Grace to Firefly?
We're talking about revivals.
Okay.
And they have a huge fan base. Let's not knock that TV. It was on for a long time.
Well, I'm sure it's bigger. It's obviously bigger than Firefly because they lasted 7 seasons.
But
or longer.
The ratings, the reviews, that's mixed. It wasn't the same as everyone complained. It wasn't the same as before. So if we were to take a new cast of characters and expand upon the world in a different way, not with the same continuity, not with everything like that, but expand upon it.
Then why bother calling it Firefly? Why not call it?
Well, because A, they need
the name.
Space cowfolk.
A, because you need the name behind it, right? To get these fans. Like, wait a minute, what are they doing? Like,
these fans will not.
No, yeah, they may not.
I'm just saying, watch we talked earlier about like the reboot of Reboot. Any fan of Reboot that gets excited when new Reboot material comes out and watches the trailer and they're like, yeah, not for me. Have fun, but not for me.
Yeah.
So I think that would be in the same vein that Firefly would be.
Well, let's talk about other reboots. It doesn't always have to be live action either. Like Reboot wasn't. She-Ra, different style of characters. You have the same characters, different style, different overall story. It's great. You know, it really appeals to... You know, a lot of people were worried that it was just appealing to just people today and not the original fans. But honestly, reviews across the board have been really great for this. You have an opportunity to take a great property with a lot of promise that people loved.
That should have
and really give everyone something new to look at. And something for them to bring their kids in to watch with them. Like, for all of us to watch together and really just, like, Just something fresh.
I think. Well, the difference is though, She-Ra was around in the 80s. So I mean, there's maybe it's the time. Firefly. God, never mind. Firefly's been almost 20 almost 20 years.
There's almost as much time between Firefly and now as between the original Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, so if you think
retract
that statement.
Good Lord.
But you have to remember what
feels like yesterday.
Yeah. Because we're all still watching it because we want to see more. And so that's probably where we think it's still fresh and new, even though it's not.
See, though, Firefly is such a great example of this, and also such a weird example of this, because I think if you did revive it, it wouldn't be what fans want. Because you know what? These characters are gonna have moved on to some extent in 15 years. I mean, come on, when they did the movie, Shepherd Book was gone. The characters were starting to disperse, right?
Yes, already.
And that's what people would do in a real
situation.
Yeah, if you're taking this as a depiction of a reality. And so you'd have to pick up with a couple of the characters and then figure out how we're going to get the band back together. So whether it would work or not, it's hard to say, but I do think if you're going to call it Firefly, you would have to place it in the same universe.
Well, yeah, 100%.
But
then that wouldn't be a reboot. That would be
something different.
I mean, sorry.
I'm saying you would have to pull.
But why do the same stories have to follow the same cues? Like as far as how everything went down with the Browncoats or the Alliance, like why does this story that we're telling with the Firefly, why does it have to follow the same storyline, the progression of the Firefly crew in order for not to be a reboot or be a revival? Like, you could change it up.
You mean keep the names the same, just different situations of how it all happened?
How things happened. Yeah, you could change it up to make it.
And people do that with, like, say if you make a TV version of a book. People have done that all the time, right? And they change, a lot of the characters stay the same. Some of them they leave out, but they change a lot of the ways that some of these characters meet. Some of the ways their stories continue on.
Yes.
And
it could improve upon some of the storylines too.
Absolutely.
But if you keep here, you know how we're gonna win this argument?
Yeah.
Give me a list of actors that are gonna play these characters of Mal, Zoe, and Wash. Come on, come at me. Let's hear them.
Oh, I already have my.
I know you already have a Dreamcast, I'm sure. But
no. So I thought about this. Okay, so I was thinking about.
Because that's what it comes down to, right? You're gonna have the same characters.
Yeah,
I understand. You are going to be portrayed by different actors.
So if it was Mal, the first person I thought of.
Channing Tatum.
No, his name is Chris Lowell, and he was on Veronica Mars. He played Piz, and he's also enlisted for a brief period of time. He
played Piz.
Yes. Do you remember?
I don't remember that guy.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
And he was also in Enlisted, and he's been in a short-lived sitcom.
You know who could play Mal? Jason Bateman. But go ahead.
Okay, Jason Bateman.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Yes, he could play.
I was going to say Nathan Fillion, but
yeah, Nathan Fillion. But if we want to go younger, because this guy's about the same age that Nathan Fillion would have been when he was Mal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
so that's where I would go with that, and I think he has charisma that a lot of people don't get to see. So I think he would be a good choice.
You know what? Let me tell you what the casting call is going to call. Like, whenever they're hiring these actors, we are looking for a Nathan Fillion type of actor. Nathan Fillion's going to look at that and go, I'm a Nathan Fillion type of actor.
Yeah, he's got Blue Bloods. He's already has a new show. So
Firefly, Blue Blood. Every time.
The,
the guy did a Kickstarter with Wash. So, to get the show going, like, even if they were like 10-minute, like, what were they trying to do? Like 3 episodes of 10 minutes of Firefly? And the Kickstarter blew up, and unfortunately,
no one took the bait.
Nothing happens. But
well, Fox said in 2018 they were open, but this is before they got bought out. So,
I mean, things could be different now.
Well, honestly, for Mal, I would think I have two people that come to mind, and one is somebody I always recommend.
Go ahead.
Which is Dax Shepard.
Oh,
because I think he's such a fun, unique actor.
It'd be way more
that
comedic.
he could bring a new side to this.
The guy from
really
the
fun.
Ashton Kutcher Punked show?
He would be so upset. That's why you brought up about him.
Was it? That's all I remember.
You mean Kristen Bell's husband? That's how I remember.
I'm so sorry. Veronica Mars' husband. Got it.
Clearly, we are Veronica Mars.
His breakout movie was Without a Paddle. He was in Zathura. He's just a really fun personality that can give a really unique take on a new character.
Is he Canadian?
He could be rogue too. Roguish, handsome.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd look good in that spandex.
Other option.
He would not be a good Captain Tight
now
Pants.
the actor's name escapes me, but the guy who plays the Atom on Legends of Tomorrow, DC's Legends of
Oh,
Tomorrow.
she's talking about Brandon Routh.
You Brandon Routh?
Yes.
The Superman?
Yeah.
Are you watching the same Legends of Tomorrow that we're watching?
Oh, I just like him.
I don't think
him.
he's. I don't.
Actually,
there's
no,
this type of
the guy who plays nope.
If you say Paul Rudd, you're both out of here.
I would say
He'd be
Paul Rudd
great.
every day.
No,
anyway,
you
so-
would not be great.
Well, I mean, I'll never say no to Paul Rudd.
No, would I. I'll
But
Paul
I know
Rudd every
Amanda
day.
has some other people
He's
that she...
America's
Yeah.
new sweetheart, apparently.
So he is. I can't wait to meet him. Okay. So for Zoe, my thought was this actress, and it sparked my mind because I was just recently watching this sci-fi channel show called Killjoys, and she plays in it. Her name is Hannah John Kamen. She's actually also was Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And she's really good on Killjoys. I enjoy her character. She has that same, like, just like Gina Rodriguez, that no bullshit attitude. So I think she'd be a really good Zoe to play that role. And, she fits the whole bill to me. So that's my choice for Zoe.
You can see it.
Yeah.
You know who would be a good Mal?
Yeah.
Is like Tessa Thompson, or somebody.
Yeah.
But
Do you think
that,
it would gender bend the character?
Why
well,
not?
that goes to, if you're doing that, just go the next step and make up new characters in a new situation and build something new. And then people don't see it as oh, look, we've got this property, we need to renew that copyright and or reuse that trademark.
I feel like that happens a lot.
Of course it does, but let's look for the best. And I think you're going to be better off, again, doing something inspired by Firefly rather than trying to say, this is a new Firefly for, a new day. Come on.
This is not your daddy's Firefly. I hate ads like
There
that.
was so little Firefly that you can't win either way, I think.
Okay.
I mean, the only way to do it would be as a revival, but you couldn't actually pull it off. And I think to do it as a reboot, there's so little Firefly that it would just come off as a cash grab. It's not like rebooting Buffy, where you can say, you know what, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they told 7 seasons worth of stories, and you know what, by season 5 it was getting a little thin on the ground. And they killed Buffy for a reason.
Yes, they did.
And so there it makes more sense to do a reboot. Like, this is a neat concept.
Yeah.
Suburban Vampire Slayer, just in general, and the different ways you could go with it that aren't tied down by, frankly, the 90s.
Yeah.
And the aughts. Was it the 90s or the... I forget.
It ended in
It ended in 2003, so it was pretty much the 90s.
Firefly ended in 2003.
So, you could just update that story and tell it again in different ways. But Firefly, there's just so little there that, just let it be.
Honestly, I think a revival would work with just other characters too in the same universe.
I think a revival would work.
And you would have Mal and
characters.
It would be like
Mal and Zoe.
Fuck it, Firefly, the next generation. There you go. And then you have new cinematic characters. Mal would show up every once in a while to yell at people.
Then you have
and then
Firefly.
Jane's looking for his illegitimate son.
You have Serenity 2 Generations.
Yeah, whatever.
So reboots and revivals aside, though, how do you personally? How does everybody feel like? What would you? Do you want anything to happen with Firefly, or would you rather it just continue to be?
Leave it.
No,
great
I
thing?
think everyone at the
I think it needs to
table
be
is
left
saying
alone.
that it has to be left alone at this point and not be remade.
It was perfect the way it was, and as much as I want more, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, and fans probably wouldn't be.
Happy
As
with
happy-
it.
Now, would I be
Regardless.
all for going back in time and fixing it so it wasn't canceled and we got more? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh goddamn! I didn't know we had that capability.
Done. No
Where's-
reboots, no
where's our
revivals.
time turner?
Time
Where's our
machine.
TARDIS?
We
Let's
go
go.
fix this. Yeah, I'll be happy. If we get some more, I'll be happy,
Yep.
and I'll be open to seeing what it's going to be. Just like with all the other reboots and revivals that we've gotten this past.
Exactly. And we're getting a ton more too, so
Yeah,
it's
but-
having happen.
I selfishly would just let it be.
Wait, hang on though. If they did a revival or a reboot, we could get a Firefly theme park land at Disney World.
Remember, it is owned
Worth
by
it.
Disney.
I'm
Worth
all
it. We're
for
doing
it
it.
now.
Let's do it. I'm gonna ride on a Firefly.
That changed your mind?
That changed my mind.
All right.
Hey, all you browncoats, do you think that Firefly should be rebooted or revived? Let us know in those comments below. Don't forget to hit our like and subscribe buttons and follow us on all our social media channels. And as always, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.
Should I wait for
Andrew?
If he doesn't come back, we just keep going.
Okay.
And I mean that as ever come back.
Yeah, but how will we restart that camera when it cuts off after 30 minutes?
We get another Andrew. I need another Andrew.
We need Andrew reboot.
You did get all those skin
Andrew
samples,
reboot versus
right?
Revival.